you were stuck in your Instagram growth for a very long time. It had taken you, I think, 8 years.
Yes.
And you had a following of 2,000 people.
If you combine both Instagram and Facebook, we're over 400,000 followers.
I've got to do it every day. And they just like, boom, their heart just sunk every day. That sounds like a lot. There's no way that I can keep up.
I figured out how to do it in 15 minutes. Everybody's looking for the magic bullet. It's not one thing. It was a bunch of things.
That was Lisa Kay. She's a published author and she teaches people how to use their intuition to make better decisions. But here's what's wild. For 8 years, she was stuck at 2,000 followers, just completely stalled. But then she changed one thing about her message and suddenly she never had to convince anyone to buy again. And now she makes a reel a day in about 15 minutes. And wait till you hear about what that one change did to her sales. It's so good. Let's get into it. Lisa, welcome to the studio.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I want to talk because you were stuck in your Instagram growth for a very long time. It had taken you, I think, 8 years.
Yes.
And you had a following of 2,000 people. And then in a 12-month span, you went from 2,000 people to over 100,000 followers on Instagram. I want to unpack that. I want to unpack what you've done and how it has impacted your business. So you ready to rock and roll?
Absolutely. Let's go.
Okay. So let's start off. Let's give everybody a sense of who it is that you serve in your audience.
So I help people use intuition to make better decisions. And I teach them basically what intuition is, how to use it in their daily life so that they can make the right decision.
So it's people that are interested in intuition and how to use it in their daily life. Mm-hmm. And then there's some other subjects around that, right?
As far as intuition goes, it kind of touches on my approach is a bit of a spiritual one.
Yeah.
And my audience believes, and I believe, that the information where it comes from beyond us, that it's like divine guidance. Mm-hmm. Might be from your angels or your higher self or your spirit guides, and that's why the decisions are better.
You had been helping people with this for a long time. You're a published author. As I mentioned, you've been publishing content on Instagram for 8 years, but you weren't seeing the traction that you were hoping for. And I'm wondering if you can kind of speak to that, because there's a lot of people who have been publishing content. They feel like they're on a content treadmill, and it's just like, when is this thing going to grow? And there might be a part of them that's kind of giving up, like it's never going to happen. And this is why I just love your story, because you had been doing this for so long, and then you changed a few things and the whole following just took off. And so I want to kind of speak to, if you can, that person who has been stuck for a while and might be giving up, thinking that this is just not for them. What would you say to them?
Well, I think there are multiple factors to it, but I think the first main thing was we actually niched down. And we changed our messaging from being very broad, which was general intuition, to more of a spiritual perspective, and a perspective of this is that divine guidance. Because I found that not only is it something that I wanted to come from, but making it more specific, this was also what people believed. And this is that audience was the one that really, truly was believers of intuition and felt that it was a divine gift. And a lot of people do believe that they've experienced it. And so I didn't have to convince people that intuition was a real thing. That was one of the biggest problems.
Yeah, because you're trying to convince people that intuition is important and it can impact your daily decisions. And you're saying, listen, instead of trying to swim upstream, let's just swim downstream and let's just target people who already believe that intuition is important.
And quite frankly, I was hesitant to do it because I partly wanted to go to a broader audience, be more mainstream. And I was, a little hesitant as to, quite frankly, what it would make me look like or appear like. But at the same time, it was something I truly believed, and I really felt it was part of who I am.
Because you were afraid that people would say, oh, like, that's too woo-woo?
That's too weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to listen to her. But it's who I am. And I found there were a lot of people like me. And so I took the leap and followed my intuition because I really did want to do it. I just, my thinking mind was afraid. And we shifted the messaging. We shifted how we talked about it. It's something that you and I worked on together. And then I started to put that into my social media content.
So let's talk about your social media content, because you made a dramatic change there. Well, I'm not going to get into exactly what you do, because that's what I want to ask you. But you made some major changes in terms of the type of content, the frequency of the content. So let's walk us through, what were you doing before and what did you start doing after? Quick thing before we dive in, Lisa covers a lot in this one. So to save you the note taken, I put her whole content and funnel system into a free resource kit for you. It's sitting in the description. All right, back to Lisa.
We were doing a lot of the same kinds of posts, photographs and, text and so on. I didn't do a whole lot of video, and reels were the thing.
Why weren't you doing video at that point?
Because I really didn't know what to do it on, or what. Actually, now that I'm rolling it back and thinking about it, it's like, well, what should I? Somebody suggested to me that, well, if you, just go outside, do something weird, pick up a rock and throw it, and I was like, okay, I don't know, is that really going to work? And so I started to look at what was working for other people. And one of the things I'm really good at is teaching, and I'm good at breaking things down very simply and doing a framework. I just basically took my teaching framework and brought it down into a very short video, which was a topic, 3 teaching points, and a call to action. But I made it really, really short, because reels are something that I learned that you have to make them less than 60 seconds.
Yep.
And the teaching points are really just 3 items. You don't have to go into a lot of, because you don't have time in the 30 seconds or the 60 seconds. And so I just basically took what I've taught and I shortened it up. I took the most frequently asked questions, the things that I knew people were always wondering about or asking about, and then I started experimenting on what the topics were. I started to throw in the woo-woo stuff. We talked about angels, different angels, guardian angels, archangels, what they do. Some of the questions that people always ask is, well, do I have one? How do I contact my guardian angel? What do I do when I need help? Can I call on them? What do I call on them for? So that becomes the topics.
Yeah.
And then I just tried them.
So I think this is a great takeaway for everybody, is that if you're unsure of what content to produce, just start with questions that people are asking and create content that answers those questions.
And because I know my audience well, partly because I'm my own, customer avatar, I kind of know what they're thinking. I know what it is that they are really wanting. Archangel Michael's a very, very, very popular angel. So I started putting reels together about him, and I started to do reels about how do you know an angel's with you? What are the signs? And then I started to see patterns. And they started to take off. And then basically I was like, all right, so I would start to repeat the ones that were doing really well. And then it started to grow from there. But the most important thing, I think, when you're doing reels is that you have to be consistent. And so
you weren't consistent before? It was kind of like random?
No, I wasn't consistent at all. And part of it was trying to come up with what the content was, what the format was. And then when I learned that this works and it's short, I figured, look, it's only 30 seconds. It's only a minute. I can talk for a minute.
Yeah.
And so that shouldn't be a problem. I have a format. I just have to crunch it down into, a hook, 3 points, and a call to action. And then I have to do it all the time. I have to do it every day.
So, okay, I know somebody watching and listening just heard that last sentence. I've got to do it every day. And they just boom, their heart just sunk every day. That sounds like a lot. There's no way that I can keep up with, a reel every single day.
I figured out how to do it in 15 minutes.
Okay, so let's talk about that. How do you produce a reel every day in 15 minutes?
All right. So the first thing, again, we start with the content that I think people are going to like. Top 10 frequently asked questions. Basically what I do is I create that hook. What are the 3 signs and angels around you? And then the 3 signs. And then a call to action. and I take that script basically, and I put it into an app. You could do it in edits now, and I just put it in the teleprompter section, and then I just read it.
And so, are you batching all of these scripts ahead of time? How are you creating all these?
Sometimes I do, but usually no. Actually, you know what I do is I use AI now. So I find the ones that are the most popular, and I'll do variations. I'll ask AI to do variations on the ones that have been working well.
Yeah.
All right. So this is the problem. The problem is that most people are going to go and say, "Well, I can't say everything in 3 points." You just have to. You don't have to go through a whole explanation. So what would be the 3 signs an angel is with you? You suddenly feel a relaxation in your shoulders. You get an aha of an answer to a question you've been asking.
And there's an important point here, which is like you're not over teaching the 3 points in a 60-second reel.
You have to keep them short.
Just got to keep them short.
These are the things that work with the algorithm, and that was one of the things that I learned. So you have to get people to watch the video as long as possible, because that's one of the things that the algorithms say, oh, people like this one because they're watching a lot of it. So if it's short, then it's easier for them to get through it. I also say 3 points. People want, if I say, and I'll say, I'm going to give you the 3 signs. People want to know what all 3 are, so they'll wait till the 3rd. So that keeps them looking. I give them valuable content, and so things that they want to save, or things that they want to like, or maybe there's a piece of content that they like so much they want to share it with someone else. One of the popular ones we had was, what's an earth angel? Well, it could be your best friend, or it could be someone who said something at the right moment that you needed, and it could be your mom, right? So people will take that and then they'll share it because they'll share it with their mom or they'll share it with their friend. So shares are another thing that gets the algorithm to say this is a good reel and puts it out more. Usually you want non-followers, because the more non-followers you have, those are the people who will become followers. So saves are number 1, then shares, then commenting.
Yeah.
And then likes.
Yeah. So what I hear you saying is the algorithm loves watch time. So the longer you can have people watch your reel, the better. And a great way to do that is a strong hook, and then tease them that there are 3 points, so they'll want to hear all 3. Then also designing content that gets them thinking about other people. So they'll want to share it with those people, or content that is valuable, so they'll want to save that content.
Yeah.
All of those things help your content reach a broader audience.
That's what people want to see. And that's what the algorithm is going to try to pump out there more and more and more. And then you have to do it every day. And the biggest thing I think when talking to people about this, the reason why they faff over it or they don't want to do it is they edit and they edit and they edit. But when you first put things out, you don't have a huge audience anyway. Maybe 2 people are looking at it. So that'll help get you practiced into doing reels. You're doing them quick, and you just have to push yourself to do it. And I read the teleprompter because it's easier for me than to try to speak extemporaneously.
Well, we were at our mastermind, and I had asked you to share this process with the group, and you wanted to create one in real time.
I did, yes.
And it was fascinating to watch the group, because you created the video, you stumbled, and then you still posted it, and people were like, "Whoa!"
And I posted it live in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And because I wanted to show you that you could still put it up there. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Right.
And the reason for that is that, people are used to talking to people face to face, and it's authentic, and they forgive you for stumbling over things. And it feels more real, and it doesn't have to be perfect.
And what was fun about that was at that same event, the very next day, you were able to show people, hey, that reel that was imperfect, where I stumbled and yet posted it anyway, has gotten tens of thousands of views already in the first 24 hours.
I think in like the first 12 hours, I got 14,000 views.
Yeah.
So it's not the polish, it's the content. And the reason why I did that particular one is because I knew that people would want to watch that.
So a reel every day. And that was a big contributing factor for you being able to grow. And I want to point out for people that this wasn't a different setup every single day. Can you kind of speak to that? Because one of the things that you've done really well is you've created an environment that allows you to produce a lot of reels.
That's a great point. I always do it in the same place in my office.
Yep.
Part of the reason why I did that is because I think what happens is when people start to like your stuff, they're scrolling and they see the same setup, they go, oh, there she is again.
Right. There's a familiarity around it.
There's a familiarity with it. So it's always in the same place in my office. I have the header on top.
Like a text hook?
Which stays up the whole time because people watch without sound. I always have captions for the whole thing. Those you need. I don't always put the whole description in because I want people to watch the video.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is you have to create a habit. So one of the habit things this came from the book Atomic Habits, and I implemented some of those things. And one of the things is the streak tracker. And it's basically every day on your calendar, you cross or you check the day off that you did it. And after a while, I think the Peloton has this.
Yeah.
So after a while, you start to see, I'm doing it, I got a streak going. And you don't want that to stop. So it motivates you a little bit more to go do it. The other thing, too, is I put it in my calendar and I set an alarm.
Interesting.
And it reminds me.
And so for you, it's every day, it's a 15-minute block.
Yeah. And if you have, if you can get AI to generate the scripts for you, now what I do is I'll have hundreds in there and I'll just scroll through and I'll grab one and I have a sense of what people like. Some of them are new and I'll try them out because you want to see, something might work better. I'm not afraid to reuse reels that have done really well in the past. And the frequency, people get a little hung up on, it's got to be perfect because now I'm in front of the camera and all these people are going to see me. Not very many people see you. So you shouldn't get hung up over on that. The other thing is people don't remember what you did yesterday. So you could repeat what you've done.
Yeah.
The other thing that's super important is we look at the data. And we do this on a very regular basis. So what am I looking for? You can go into the statistics on Facebook and you can look at your Instagram and your Facebook Reels performance. And you can sort on, you can look at all the ones over a period of time. So for the last month or the last 90 days, and you could see which ones had the most views, which ones had the most likes, which ones had the most saves, which ones had the most comments. And so we take the ones that do the best. I can take those, throw them into AI and say, make more of these. Or I've done this. This is really cool. So I've taken screenshots of the table and I throw it into AI and say, you look at this and analyze it for me.
Yeah.
I don't have to even try to break it out. It will tell me.
This is something though that very few creators actually do. A lot of creators just keep creating. Very seldom do they look at the data and use that to inform what to create next. But what I hear you saying is the data is the most important thing. It is the thing that is guiding
100%.
the decisions that you're making behind content.
100%. And we've done this. So we've been doing social media for a long time now. And we always look at the data. And so we're doing reels every day, but we also have, I have an assistant who helps me do what we call an EdCal. And we have a variety of things that we post that they help me post. And this is over the years we've tried different things, and this is what you have to do. You have to try. So one was quotes, meme quotes, which still do really well. They're old. I mean, they've been around for 8 years, but they do well for us. So we keep doing those. I'll have posts for my podcast, and it drives people to the podcast that I don't do anymore. and that people still listen. We do a post that that I learned from Jasmine Star, which was a little bit about me. And because that's what social media is for. They want to relate to you. So it's a little story about something in my life that's simple. Maybe it's a quirky habit I have after dinner. What's my favorite dessert? What do I do every day? So every day after dinner, my husband and I sit down and we have tea and a piece of dark chocolate, right? And it's just a little bit about me, and it's something that we look forward to, and so we look forward to our tea time, and then at the bottom, I'll have a question: what do you do? What is it you'd like to do as a treat for your day, or for dessert? And we get hundreds of comments, and the great thing about that is people relate to you. And they also get to share. And I've gotten to the point now that people will say, "Oh, we love it," because people read each other's comments, and we love this community. We love your page. So the point is, why do we do that particular one? Because it was proven to get results.
Yeah.
And we just lean into the ones that work and toss the ones that don't.
I think it's a big lesson for everybody that you got to look at your data and let your data help inform the kind of content that you create.
And they all help each other.
Yeah.
So it's not that you only do reels. You could do these other things as well.
Okay. I want to shift gears a little bit because you grew the audience, which was phenomenal. And, taking you 8 years to get to 2,000. And in a 1 year period, you took that to over 100,000 and now obviously way beyond. And it's grown even more because it's not just on Instagram, because this is also been a parallel journey on Facebook because you've been using the content.
Oh, let's talk about that.
Okay.
So I just do exactly what I do on Instagram. I do it on Facebook.
Is it the same video?
It's everything's the same. So we experimented. At first I thought, well, if you're watching me on Instagram, you got to get bored because you'll see the same thing on Facebook. So we swapped them around, but it doesn't matter. And it was easier for me to look at the data if I did everything at, the same kind of post on the same day.
And talk to us about how your following has grown there. Because now collectively...
That's gotten bigger than Instagram.
Yeah.
Well, we started a little bit higher there. We were at 20,000. But we're over 250 million in Facebook right now.
It's amazing.
So if you combine both Instagram and Facebook, we're over 400,000 followers.
Yeah.
In what, 2 years?
Which is amazing because you were like, way less.
And I was dying. I was trying everything.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out how to grow this. But this has really worked. And it's doing more of what works, less of what doesn't, and there are ways you can be consistent. And one of the big thing is, don't worry about what you're putting out there. It's okay. It really is.
Yeah, because tomorrow's a new day, and
people don't, they forget.
And I think this is a great lesson for everybody: is that you have to be willing to just experiment and try, and just know that,
yes,
like you're gonna discover some of those winners, and that's what's happened for you. You've discovered content that resonates. You've doubled down on it, and that's grown the audience even more.
And marketing.
Yeah.
So the other thing too is before the internet, you had to pay a company hundreds of thousands of dollars for marketing information. Now you get your own. So now I have my own marketing data looking at the results of social media. And so that's how I know what people are going to buy. Because I know that which topics they like. So that's how we started to monetize.
So let's talk about that, because growing a following is awesome only if it leads to the ultimate objective, which is to grow the business.
Right.
And so how did you bridge that gap between like growing the audience and now actually making money with the audience?
Well, the first thing we did was to start small. And we started with a $7 product, which was a guide on the different archangels, how to call on them, and then know that they have responded to you. And I knew that was something that people would want because of the data we had looked at before and the interest that it showed. And basically, we used a product called ManyChat, where you can, in my reel, I say, all right, if you want to learn more about angels or archangels, just type this keyword, Angels SOS, into the comments, and I'll send you more information. And ManyChat goes in and responds to them in DMs with that information. And
so what happens at that point? So
they get a link that they can click on, and it goes to the guide, to the $7 guide.
So it's like a checkout page that now they can pay for the $7
exactly.
guide. And talk to us about what else you're doing on that, because it's pretty significant.
We have an upsell
on
it. I think it's how to know your guardian angel, or who your guardian angel is. And that is a $97 product that we discount to $25. And all they have to do is, on the sales page, click on that box if they want that, and they get both. So they have to, they'll pay for both.
What percentage of people are taking you up on that?
That converts at 36%.
Which is phenomenal.
And it's free money.
It's
free money-ish.
Like, let's just think about that. The average order before would be $7, but now the average order is more than doubled because you added this, order bump.
Yes.
And 36% of people are taking that. Like, if people are not including an upsell on their product pages, they are leaving money on the table.
Yes, absolutely. Well, so let me tell you the story of how this all started. It was an idea that was offered by you to me. And I was like, okay, I could do that. I could, throw this together. And so we built it in May of last year and put it all together. And then I had to rebuild my entire tech stack because of some issues that we were having. So that took me offline, meaning not offline, but it took me away from...
Your focus was elsewhere.
From launching and trying to generate more money for a good 3 or 4 months. But this thing was running in the background because I would always do a reel with a call to action, and people go back and look at your old reels, and it's all automated.
Yep.
So I just let it run, and by the end of the year, it made 14 to 15% of our income. Because not only were they buying the $7 and then doing the upsell, but then they were buying other things.
I want to just pause here and just let that thought settle for people. You set up this funnel one time.
Yeah.
And then from that point forward, you just continue what you were always doing, which is creating content with a call to action to leave the comment, the word. And then the rest just takes care of itself because it's set up. And that, over the course of the year, led to 15% of your overall sales. Yes. You set it up one time, and then it just keeps on working for you.
Yep. And I didn't put a lot of effort into it, and I didn't run any ads to it. I mean, when we do launches, we spend a lot of money on ads.
Yeah.
And this thing is like rocking it.
And it gives you a way to be able to build a business around content that you're creating. So it's like you're not just creating content, for content's sake.
Right.
You're creating content that has a purpose.
Well, and the other thing is I'm doing it anyway.
Right.
I'm trying to grow an audience. I'm trying to, and so I had this engine and this process to create reels and do the posts out there anyway. And then I just added this thing and it started to make money, so this is great. It's making money and I'm not really, focused on that.
Yeah. So what's next for you with this whole funnel? Like, you've continued to grow the audience. Or what's the next part that you're working on?
Well, I'm really excited because it's like, okay, if I didn't really put a whole lot of effort into it, what if I did put effort into it? What if I, say, had a few more funnels?
Yeah.
And the funnel only kind of ends at that upsell. What if I nurtured those people further and got them into the membership, or told them the other things that I have? I right now it's organic. They have to go look at my store and run across something else. But if I was more deliberate in funneling them to other things, and in a more deliberate way, I think it could grow.
I think there's tons of potential for you. I mean, like, the back end sales of all these $7 sales that are coming in, and 36% of people took you up on the upsell. there's all those people that didn't. And so that's a huge opportunity. And there's so many ways you could follow up and
everything's in alignment. And I think that goes back to what we talked about in the beginning, was the major turning point was being very clear on my messaging, because I was very clear on my audience.
Yep.
And then all the pieces fell into place from there, because I could build my products on there, my messaging, and my social media content. I think another point is that it affects everything else that you've built. And I think one of the things that I've learned is everybody's looking for the magic bullet, right? The one thing I can do to all of a sudden make $1 million. And I don't think anything that, even in this, what I've done to grow to, getting close to 500,000 followers, was not one thing. It was a bunch of things. And the same thing with the revenue that we have. It's not one thing. It's all the back end things. It's the $7 things. It's the $97 course. It's it's the membership. It's the annual for the membership. They all add up after a while.
And I want to just quickly, before we wrap, touch on the annual for the membership, because there was a significant jump for you of members who were choosing annual. Talk to us a little bit about that.
So the annual membership, so we have a monthly membership, which is a $37 a month membership. And we also have an annual, which is $370 for the year. One of the things we did in there was we added a bonus, which was my signature course called Trust Yourself. I think what happened with all of this other stuff, being in alignment, building up anticipation, I think it was in 2004, the annual sales were about 4% every time we launched. Well, the last 2 launches has been 50% of
which
our
is
launch,
crazy.
Which the contrast of the $37 a month versus the $370.
I think that is, you have built so much trust and familiarity with your audience ahead of time, because you've been publishing consistently every day. They know you, they like you, they trust you. So when it comes time to making a buying decision, they are way more likely going to go all in versus just dip their toe, because they've got that relationship with you. That trust has been built. And so there's like the secondary benefits of creating this regular, consistent content. Aside from just like the audience growth, it's that it impacts people's trust. And that trust is a direct correlation to sales. And I think there's a lot to be said there.
And I sell more of that trust course as an annual bonus than I did when I tried to sell it alone. A lot.
So what do you mean by that?
I used to launch the course. I used to do a PLF style launch. No, I also did a webinar launch, trying to sell that course alone, which is it's actually a $297 value.
Yeah.
And it was like pushing a boulder uphill. It was just so hard to get people, because I think it was because for my audience, it was pricey. And here they might be coming in cold or kind of lukewarm, and we go through the launch and they're like, ooh, $300. I don't know if I want to spend that much money. And so it was harder to sell. But here, I think because, like you said, they've been warmed up through all the social media. And on top of that, the launch is for the membership. And so not only do you get the course, but you get the membership as well. All of that shows the contrast in value, but also, they're warm. They've been with me for a long time.
Yeah, it's a powerful lesson, because like another big contributing factor is you are talking about this course, establishing the value of this course, and you're saying, hey, listen, you buy annual, you get that for free. And it's just like, it's a no-brainer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
As we wrap up, Lisa, what would be some advice for that person who has been feeling like they're on the content treadmill and not getting anywhere? What would you say to them?
Well, you do have to look at your data. I have talked to so many people who never look. And then you're just throwing stuff out there, trying to go, and you don't know whether it's working or not. You're just like, maybe it's that whole $1 million thing, or the million view thing. You're throwing things out there waiting to see if you can get the million views. But if I started small, I was looking at the data, I'm looking at 20 views, 5 views. And I just leaned into the ones that were doing better. And I started to know which content worked.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. The second thing is just get it out there. It's all an experiment anyway.
Yeah.
So you just keep trying things.
Get out of your own way.
And hit publish. and at first you're going to go, and then don't look then. And then don't look.
Yeah.
But get into the habit. Use the Atomic Habits playbook and do it.
It's been awesome to watch your growth. It's been awesome to see the people that you're impacting. Where can people go to connect with you?
You can go to lisakaintuition.com or you can follow me on Instagram or Facebook. And if you go to lisakaintuition.com, all my links are there.
Awesome. lisakaintuition.com. Buddy, thank you so much for coming and sharing.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So that was Lisa Kay. And if she changed the way that you think about showing up every day and turning your content into actual income, then do me a favor and hit subscribe, because we do this every single week with more tips and tricks for business owners. And listen, I want you to actually use what she shared. So I took all of it and put it into a free resource kit. Just scan the QR code you see on the screen or grab the link in the description. Now, next week is Will Hamilton, and he has a story I can't get over because he sold a $10,000 offer off a single email, an email that he wrote before the product even existed. You're going to want to hear exactly how he pulled that off, and that's all coming up next week. I'll see you then.